Welcome to TMZ Live. If you have seen Reacher, you know who Alan Ritchson is, and he is a badass. And he showed that in a very colorful way in Tennessee over the weekend when he beat the crap out of a neighbor.
Right. This is not a scene from Reacher you're seeing here. This is just in his neighborhood, a Nashville suburb, and the guy in blue is a neighbor named Ronnie Taylor, and you can see that Alan Ritchson is bigger than most people he's going to come across.
He's huge. Look at him.
A huge guy, but it's all over those motorcycles.
Look at Alan without the helmet and everything.
And that neighbor, Ronnie, walking off there, battered. Certainly you saw the punches that Alan was throwing.
But not scared because he turned around.
Because he did go back to him and wanted to make his point. And that's really what this all comes down to, is a neighbor who's angry with what he sees as reckless behavior by Alan Ritchson on his motorcycle. By the way, the two other people on the motorcycles, those are Alan's sons who were riding with him on Sunday around noon when this happened.
So this was brewing for at least a couple of days. I spoke to Ronnie. We were going to have him on TMZ Live today. Didn't want to go on the show, but he did talk to me a few minutes ago and kind of laid out what happened. Cops, too, being aggressive at a point, but he says there is a reason because he reached a boiling point.
It started on Saturday morning and I'm an experienced motorcycle rider. I've been riding bikes all my life. So, you know, from dirt bikes to street bikes and etc. But I'd heard this incestuous revving and speeding through our neighborhood of the motorcycle. I eventually saw the guy on Saturday. I didn't know who it was. And I sort of like flippantly sort of said, "Guy, like he was quite a way." And I said, "Can you just slow it down, please?" And then there are numerous people in my neighborhood who caught all of this on Ring doorbells of him speeding through the neighborhood. And on Sunday, when I was cleaning my bike outside my house, he rode past once, twice, and on the second time, I walked out in front of him and I said, "You've got to stop. Someone's going to get hurt." And it escalated quite quickly from there. I did push him because he was coming towards me on his bike. He did it again for a second time. I pushed him a second time. And I think the second time he got off his bike and it kicked the crap out of me. And you can see he hit me in the back of my head. I went to the ground and covered myself. And I don't want any malice with it. I don't even know the guy. I just don't want people riding around neighborhoods at excessive speeds and high-power bikes, which they clearly don't know how to ride. You can see the way he picked the bike up by the throttle, and it zipped across the lawn. So, just too many people get hurt and killed on motorcycles for people to ignore it. So I just said to myself, someone's got to stop this guy. Again, I didn't know who it was. So I went out and I stood in front of him. Yes, I stood there and said, "You've got to stop." And there was an altercation from there. And I did put my hands on his bike or him and said, "You've got to stop because someone's going to get hurt. And it's enough's enough." I've had such a day today. And I don't wish the guy any malice or ill will, but we just don't need people riding through neighborhoods like this. And I just decided, I'm going to take a stand because someone else has to, because it's going to end up way worse than it could have.
So he really did cop to what he did.
Right.
And, from his point of view, it is somebody in the neighborhood who is riding recklessly, speeding.
Yeah. So I think, Ronnie thinks that he had good reason to take the action that he took. And I think Alan Ritchson thinks he had good reason to take the action he took because someone else got physical with him first.
There's no crime here. It's mutual combat.
Right. Now, by the way, the police did come out.
See, look at that. That's what
he's right there. I was trying to understand what happened, but the way Ronnie describes it, he just unknowingly picked up the bike by the throttle.
He was just in a rage, it looks like.
But look, so Ronnie did call the police after all of this. The police came out, they took a report, and officially they tell us they are investigating.
And nothing's going to happen.
It seems like what's going to come of this is mutual combat, neighbor dispute, and they keep it moving.
There is a point of, when you are living in a neighborhood, especially with kids,
right.
And you are going fast, and that's what he's saying, and he's saying the neighbors saw it too. If that's the case, that's how neighborhood feuds start. I mean, this is just how neighborhood feuds, boil over. Especially, and there was history here, because what Ronnie didn't say and what we had heard was they were flipping each other off on Saturday, the day before. So this was coming to a head. And when he says he went back twice, that's sort of like,
By the way, you see in that video, there's a dirt bike across the road, which I'm guessing is Ronnie's.
He said he was cleaning his bike.
Oh, he was cleaning his bike.
Yeah.
All right. I was wondering if he was getting on his bike to
No,
go
no, no.
after
He said he
him.
was cleaning his
Got
bike
it.
when this happened. So there's going to be no fallout here, but it is kind of a microcosm of how neighborhood feuds start.
By the way, I will just say this. You have to be really concerned about your neighborhood or pissed off about something to go up to a guy as big as Alan Ritchson.
Yeah.
That's just not something you're going to do unless you really feel provoked to do that.
I think that's fair.
Alan needs to be a better example for his children. First, he needs to not speed through a residential neighborhood. And secondly, to get into a fight in front of his kids, he just has to do better than that.
Yeah. I mean, if indeed he was speeding, and it seems like there's some evidence he was, and going back and forth that way.
Would the police actually, as part of their investigation, try to find video to confirm that Alan was speeding?
It's
I mean, they're
irrelevant.
not going to give him a ticket for the speeding, but it supports Ronnie's story of why he even confronted him.
It's kind of irrelevant once Ronnie pushes him and pushes the motorcycle and they get into it.
Right.
It's mutual
Because
combat.
even if he was
End
speeding,
of
you
story.
can't
Yeah.
yeah. Paris Jackson, not a big fan of the movie that is about to come out about her father's life. She's not a fan of the movie, but I think more to the point here, and she's actually filed legal documents over this. She's not a fan of the people who produced it, namely the executors of the Michael Jackson estate. And she thinks that they have spent wildly here, not only paying themselves, but some of the things that they spent on this movie. She's questioning the budget, and in particular, going out and getting what she imagines is a pretty high-ticket item, and that would be Miles Teller, to play one of the executors, John Branca.
John Branca has been a long-time lawyer for Michael Jackson. He was hired and fired and hired and fired, and that's kind of the way Michael rolled. But ultimately, he became the executor of the estate, and there's just been a lot of tension. And the Jackson family has always they've had issues with the way money has been managed. But the reality is, too, that Michael Jackson was a train wreck when it came to money. They were deeply, deeply, deeply in the red when Michael died.
Yes.
And now this estate is flush with money, and a lot of it is because of the executor.
So Paris, we should say that not only she's questioning the hiring of Miles Teller, was that necessary? Is that going to actually help the movie make more money?
And that's the answer to that is no.
No, because people are going to see it for Michael's story, Michael's music. She also is calling out the fact that the executors have paid themselves very handsomely. She says between 2009 and 2021, they made $148 million. She points out that in 2021 alone, they made almost $8 million. So that she thinks that's a little high.
If you were doing
for
it
these
based on
attorneys.
an hourly rate, I get it. But this isn't an hourly rate. Executors get a percentage. And you have to look at how much money the estate gets in order to determine if that amount is reasonable or not. The reality is, my understanding is that the estate is worth close to $1 billion now. And when you make that much money, it's sort of like when lawyers get a contingency fee. They could get 33 to 50% of the recovery. And it looks like a huge amount of money, but then you see what the client's getting. And in this case, Paris is the beneficiary of what the estate has done.
If that's their percentage of what the estate is worth, that just means they're doing their job.
Exactly.
And this movie stands to not just be as a box office hit, but what it could do for Michael's catalog and future value. I mean, we saw what Bohemian Rhapsody did for Queen, what Rocket Man did for Elton John, what Elvis did for Elvis. They can really boost Michael's profile because you got to figure he's been dead 17 years.
Right.
There are kids who
They
don't
need
know
something
him
to
that well.
It's almost
his
like you
music.
need to refresh the fan
And
base.
I will even defend the Miles Teller thing. Yeah, that probably was a huge expense for the movie. They're also probably thinking Oscar possibilities because that will give the movie a whole second life next year. And Miles Teller
you
could
get
get,
an
which would be
actor-
wild if the one white dude in the Michael Jackson biopic gets the Oscar nomination. But you don't bank on Jafar necessarily getting it, even though he might. He looks great in the movie to me from the trailer. But it extends the shelf life of the movie and Michael and the whole empire.
That feels like a reach to me, but I'll...
Not necessarily. Every one of these movies movies, I mean, Rami Malek won for playing Freddie Mercury. Austin Butler got nominated.
I know, but those are the people who played the stars.
But it helps the movies. It helps the movies, and then that in turn helps the streaming of the catalog.
A lot of people at the estate feel like this is Paris just having sour grapes over a lot of financial things over the years, and certainly the movie. An attorney for the estate told us Miss Jackson has already received roughly $65 million in benefits and stands to inherit many hundreds of millions more. This is from an estate that was $500 million in debt and facing bankruptcy at the time of Michael's death, but was turned by the executors into a business generating billions in revenue.
I mean, it's true. And again, billions, that's not the profit. I'm told the estate is worth around $1 billion or close to it. But still, they're getting that percentage. The way it's structured is Michael's 3 kids get money at increments. I believe it's when they're 25, 30, and 35 is when they get the bulk of their money.
I think
it's a portion.
When it's 20, 30, and 40. It actually is.
Is it 20, 30, and 40?
What is it?
30, 35, 40?
There you go.
Okay.
All right. Whatever. They get it in increments. Interesting, though, that they're not making that much more than the attorneys. Let's assume that they're all getting... So she's gotten $65 million.
Well, no. You can't look at it that way.
Okay.
No, I'll tell you. No, I'll tell you why.
But my point is, you don't think Paris is looking at it that way? She's going, yes, I got $65 million. How much did you guys get?
But they're not going to get incremental increases.
I know.
They just get, once the money goes into the estate, they get the percentage.
And she will get, but she will
She's
get
gonna
nothing
get all
if they
that
don't
money.
do their job.
Right. I mean, I got to say, the estate's got a point here.
I think so.
They just do.
Hi, my name is Geraldine, live from the Bay Area, and I think that we should definitely take Paris Jackson's thoughts into consideration because at the end of the day, this is her father. She grew up with him. You know, she knows all this stuff on a deeper level. If we want to honor Michael Jackson in this movie, then we need to honor his legacy, and Paris Jackson is a part of his legacy.
It's true, but she's also the beneficiary of the estate. And if it just was the way it was when he died, she'd get zero. I mean, that's the thing. She would have had zero money. She is now going to be a millionaire many, many times over.
Already is.
And already is.
Coming up.
Chappell Roan's interaction with a fan has sparked an international incident because this fan happens to be the daughter of some pretty famous people down in Brazil.
Do you think that's relevant?
I think it's the only reason that Chappell is responding to this whole thing.
Maybe so.
Be right back.
Chappell Roan's interaction with a fan has sparked an international incident because this fan happens to be the daughter of some pretty famous people down in Brazil, where Chappell was performing at Lollapalooza.
Do you think that's relevant?
I think it's the only reason that Chappell is responding to this whole
Maybe
thing.
so. Maybe
because
so.
normally, we know how Chappell feels about it. She doesn't want to be bothered by fans. What happened down in Sao Paulo, where she was getting ready to perform this show, she was at her hotel, having breakfast, sitting in the hotel restaurant, I guess, and the little girl walks by, an 11-year-old. Now, the 11-year-old, her name is Ada Law. She is the stepdaughter of Jorginho, a very popular Brazilian soccer star, and Cat Cavelli, who is a singer, also famous.
Mm-hmm.
So they...
How'd they get the name Law?
Because Jude Law is her birth father.
Exactly.
Right. So, Ada Law walks by the table. Story goes, Jorginho says that his daughter, stepdaughter, simply walked past the singer's table, looked to confirm it was her, smiled, and went back to sit with her mom. She didn't say anything, didn't ask for anything. A large security guard came over and began speaking in an extremely aggressive manner to both my wife and my daughter, saying that she shouldn't allow my daughter to disrespect or harass other people. Chappell Roan, without your fans, you would be nothing. And to the fans, she does not deserve your affection.
So initially, Chappell's responded by saying, not her security. That is weird to me, but here's what she said.
I'm just going to tell my half of the story of what happened today with a mother and child who were involved with a security guard who is not my personal security. I didn't even see a woman and a child. Like, no one came up to me. No one bothered me. I did not ask the security guard to go up and talk to this mother and child. They did not come up to me. They weren't doing anything. I do not hate people who are fans of my music. I do not hate children. Like, that is crazy. I'm sorry to the mother and child that someone was assuming something, that you would do something, and that if you felt uncomfortable, that makes me really sad. You did not deserve that.
So she is co-signing on what the daughter said, which is, I did nothing other than to look.
Right.
So she's saying that she never bothered me.
Right.
Now the question is,
so who
was the
these
security guards?
Right.
And it's weird to me that hotel security, and look, I'm just trying to be rational here. It's weird that hotel security would go up to guests because the child looked,
Right.
and Chappell's even saying all she did was look, and berate them. That's just weird to me.
It's strange.
I don't think it's that weird. I think that if
I've never seen it in a hotel ever.
Right, but if it's this huge festival, right, and there's probably other artists also staying at this hotel, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and maybe that security guard, whether it's hotel or otherwise, knew who Chappell was and that she had a lot of, incidents with fans or autograph
girl-
takers.
but the girl didn't do anything. I mean, one thing if the
Chappell
girl
said
had-
the girl did nothing.
No,
Right.
no, but
Chappell
still,
said
if you're
the girl did nothing.
hypervigilant as a security guard that this
With an
artist
11-year-old?
doesn't want people bothering them,
Like
obviously
an
what they did was
11-year-old
wrong.
walks by twice, and you're
Yeah.
gonna be like, "Hey,
Well,
everyone, on alert, on alert."
Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
I mean, it's
Wait a
crazy,
minute.
but...
But you're saying that they don't want people bothering Chappell.
Right.
Chappell said she wasn't bothering me. Chappell said she didn't do anything
Yeah, but the
wrong.
security guard
She didn't
doesn't
even
know that. The security guard is like, oh my God, this person is going to bother her, and we don't want a whole incident here, so let me go say
but the
something.
security guard walked up and said, you were harassing her.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the question is, would hotel security be that aggressive?
By the way, Kat, mom, she was not buying Chappell's version of it. She said, I was there, and I know it was actually Chappell's security.
So 100% this security guard was not a security guard of the hotel. I don't know if it was her personal security guard, but he was with her. Did she send him to do it? Again, I don't know. Look, I would like to hope not, but at the same time, I think that you have a responsibility when you are a celebrity to make sure, I guess, that the people that work for you and that act on your behalf are acting on your behalf.
Hi, I'm Caleb Maya Fisher from San Diego, California. And first of all, I just want to say the only reason Chappell is responding to the situation is because of who the parents are. And I just think that's 100% facts. Second of all, the security guard definitely overdid it in the situation, being that this was an 11-year-old girl just walking over to the table. He did not have to go over there and berate the mother and daughter for what she did. Okay, the daughter did nothing wrong except look. So he did not have to do all that. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Listen, look for TMZ Investigates Breakfast with Chappell coming soon.
Today is the day that the first roses were supposed to have been handed out, and everyone would be talking about the Bachelorette and her journey. But they are not, because, of course, Taylor Frankie Paul's season of The Bachelorette was yanked last week. Last night was the night it was supposed to premiere. But over the weekend, Taylor Frankie Paul has not been exactly laying low and certainly seems to want to remain in the spotlight, even though her show is not airing. I only say that because of her wardrobe choices. Walking around Salt Lake this weekend in a sweatshirt that says on the back of it, I can't wait to sleep with you.
It's kind of on brand.
On brand?
No, it's kind of on brand with her, persona on
Yes, it is.
Secret Lives of
And I guess
Mormon
it's
Wives.
interesting that it's not like she's just quietly staying out of the spotlight and licking her wounds. She seems defiant. I'm not going to be shocked if next week she does some big sit down at ABC.
Oh, absolutely.
To tell her side of what happened with Dakota.
What I'm interested in is what they're going to do on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. That they talked about this on one of the seasons, which is even
the very
more
first episode.
Which is even
they made
more,
a reference to it.
More stunning that the producers on
the
The
police body
Bachelorette
cam on the
overlooked
episode.
this whole thing.
Right.
Even though it was on streaming, where you could hear her talk about it, and they never either bothered to look or they looked and didn't care. But I wonder if that show is going to come back with her.
I don't think it's going to come back at all, because we still know, as of today, the cast, producers are in Salt Lake City. They're ready to film. They've been wanting to film with them. The cast is refusing to.
But they don't want to shoot with Taylor.
They don't want to shoot at all. And what we're trying to understand...
That's amazing.
It's insane. And the producers are begging them, obviously, because they had 3 or 4 weeks left to film. So I don't know how you put a bow on it and end the season without addressing any of this, but they cannot
Will they
get
do
the
it
cast.
without her?
I mean, she's such a big part of the show. I don't know how you move forward. You know, are people going to be interested in watching it without her?
And if you do it without her, then you have to let the remaining cast talk about their feelings about her, because otherwise, how do you explain it to the audience the fact that she's not on the show suddenly?
Right.
Well, they could do that. And they could talk about her even if she's not there.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, is streaming different than broadcast television in this sense? I mean, at a point, if the women say, yeah, we'll come back, does the streamer say, okay, or do they say, nope, we're going to cancel?
I think they would still go ahead with it.
I do
they
too.
know they would still be interested.
Yeah,
would watch it.
I do too.
Hey, my name is Kwame Appiah. I'm in Seattle, Washington, and I gotta say, as someone who has faced backlash from reality TV, I do agree that Taylor should put her phone down and just let it simmer for a little bit, but it's also hard to let other people control that narrative, right? You want to take it back. So I see why she's forcing it, but to be honest with you, she's just got to put it down.
For those who don't know, Kwame was on Love is Blind.
What backlash?
Yeah, I was on Love is Blind, and the thing about any reality TV where there's strong opinions, there's a lot of viewers, everyone's gonna have their opinions of who you are, what you do, what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. And so there was definitely some heated moments that were just sprung up by the things that happened throughout the show. So I will say, ultimately, it's just really difficult to just put your phone down. Because I picked my phone up many times and clapped back. But after a while, I started to realize you just gotta let it go. It's gonna keep happening no matter what.
Absolutely.
Coming up.
New mission for ICE. This is the first day that ICE agents will be at airports around the country.
By bringing ICE into the mix here, you are asking for volatile confrontations.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
BB Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too. Did you just say, look at the water?
I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at.
TMZ!
New mission for ICE today. This is the first day that ICE agents will be at airports around the country where, depending on who you talk to and when you talk to them, because the president himself has said 2 different things here, but one version is that the ICE agents are not there for immigration purposes. They are there just to help with the long lines that you know have been at TSA because of the partial shutdown. Now, the president has also said, oh, yeah, they're going to be arresting people there. So
arresting people for immigration.
Right.
Yeah.
So there at San Francisco International Airport, it does appear that there was an arrest made. That's how it seemed to people who were watching what happened in one of the TSA lines at SFO. So watch this video of a woman and her child being taken into custody.
Leave her alone! What are you doing? Leave her alone! What the hell are you doing?
I hope you're so proud of yourselves. You're on video now, too. Shame on you. You un-American piece of you.
Well, okay. So we're not positive these are ICE agents.
SFO tells us that they are federal agents is all they would say.
Right, and they could be ICE agents.
Yeah, could be.
So
ICE.
2 things. One is, by bringing ICE into the mix here, you are asking for volatile confrontations because you have a lot of people who are pissed off at ICE and they are going to get in their faces, and these guys who are not particularly trained at crowd control are going to lash back, and you're going to start seeing things at airports, maybe like you saw in Minneapolis. And that's a problem right there. The bigger problem, and I just want to say this because it's just, I'm up to here right now that Congress doesn't function, and none of them should be reelected, I think.
Going back to outa.
I'm going back to out with their asses.
Out with their asses.
Because look, these TSA agents make $35,000 to $40,000 a year. They are living hand to mouth. This is the third time they haven't gotten paid. And in one time, they were not paid for well over a month. They are making it, Congress is making it so impossible for people to live. And yeah, the Democrats blame the Republicans and the Republicans blame the Democrats, but they can't compromise. And that is the key to running a government, that you've got to compromise.
Because there's no more compromise, less gets done.
Right. Well, nothing gets done.
Right.
They're going to go on recess.
In general, I mean.
Well, they're going to go on recess in a month. We're $39 trillion in debt. You've got air traffic controllers with this huge shortage, and you have this thing that happened at LaGuardia where the air traffic controller was doing ground control and air control at the same time. And we're going to have tragedies, and we should not be reelecting any of them because as a body, they don't know how to compromise. And I know that sounds crazy, but I personally like my congressman, but I'm going to vote against because I think you need to have a clean sweep and you have to have an expectation that the next group that comes in, if they can't run a government, then they get kicked out too.
I know what you're saying, and we brought this up before when we talk about outa. Yes, even though you like your congressman, you say you would vote him out, but what if the only option you have is going to be worse than your congressman?
I think...
If you believe, you have to vote with your conscience. And if you think that this other person is going to be worse than yours, then now you can't vote him out.
Well, here's the problem.
This is the only issue with outa.
Oh, no, but here's the problem with that. That, yes, you can vote them all back in, and then you won't
vote them all back in, but...
Well, yeah, but the people who get elected...
You're right.
So let's say they all mostly go back in.
Right.
Well, we're going to wait another 2 years, and I don't know that we can sustain what's going on in this country for another 2 years where the government can't run. And I think, yes, there are problems with what I'm saying. I think the problems are far worse if we don't have a revolt by voters. I think it's going to be worse.
Coming up.
Justin Timberlake's DWI arrest. We are now finally seeing it on police body cam.
Yeah, I'm on tour.
What are you doing?
I'm on the world tour.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. Justin Timberlake's DWI arrest. We are now finally seeing it on police body cam.
And I got to say, it ain't feeling like the story that they told, which is one martini.
Yes, that was the story originally. And you remember, Justin and his lawyers tried to stop this video from coming out. But
they did for a while.
And they did for a while, but ultimately they reached an agreement with the prosecutors that they would release parts of the video with some redactions. So the big question we had, and the reason everybody wanted to see the body cam was there was a story that Justin had basically said, played the celebrity card.
Right.
Well, it is there on the video. Though I will say there's some hesitation on his part, and I don't know if he's hesitant or he's drunk.
I think...
Or both.
Okay.
How long are you renting it for?
Just for a couple of days.
What are you visiting?
Yeah, I'm on tour.
What are you doing?
I'm on the world tour.
A what?
A world tour.
Doing what?
Hard to explain. World tour. I'm Justin Timberlake.
What's your name?
Justin Timberlake.
You are Justin Timberlake?
Yeah.
You have a license with you?
Yeah, I do.
That moment, as the kids say, that was cringe.
So
that was very, very cringe.
He could not form the thought of how to explain what a world tour is. He was that wasted.
Well, and also I think he was hoping that he'd just say world tour and the guy would go, oh yeah, you're Justin Timberlake.
Right,
and
you're in town for your show.
We know that the officer said he was didn't realize that he was Justin Timberlake.
I believe the officer's 22, as I
there was
remember.
reports he was 20. The officer was 22 years old and had no idea who Justin Timberlake was, and that is why when this exchange happened, the officer was like, "I'm sorry, you're here for what? Like, what's your name? Do you have an ID?"
Right.
Because he was clueless.
My sense of it was he definitely didn't recognize him. When he said Justin Timberlake, it was almost like a light bulb went off. So he may have heard the name, but he wasn't connecting much.
Not connecting it.
Yeah. And so Justin was taken to the police station, put in a cell, and he was told he'd have to sleep there that night. And he's like,
he was like, what? Right here? Yeah, that's the drunk tank, man.
There's a lot of gems.
By the way, there was one of his friends who he'd been out with that night.
Right.
Showed up on the scene when the police pulled over.
It was the guy that was ahead of him.
No,
he came back.
It was a woman.
Well, it was a man and a woman, and they came back.
And they came back. By the way, she also played the my friend's a celebrity.
Yeah.
Listen to this when she tried to explain who Justin is.
But should I ask him if he wants it or if he wants me to keep it?
You can't talk to him.
There has to be a moment of talking.
No, not anymore.
Please help me.
Not anymore.
Hold on.
Okay.
So
hold on.
This is the registration of the vehicle. Just make sure it stays with the vehicle, okay?
I have his phone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you guys please just do me a favor because you loved Bye 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 or like Sexy Back?
So
like, do me one favor. Let me ask him if he wants me to give him his phone.
Yeah.
This is insane.
By the way,
it's not
in that
gonna be a long
moment,
thing.
So cringe.
yes, many cringe moments, but
I will say though, a lot of people online, I know how Justin so badly did not want this to come out, but a lot of people online are saying like, wow, this is actually like kind of sweet, and they like Justin because he was so polite during the whole exchange with police. Remember, he even cracked that joke about being white too. They thought that was funny.
Looking over his intake information,
which was funny, but he was also driving drunk, and he did not get a drunk driving conviction. It was reduced.
Struck a plea deal, which we say always happens when it's your first time.
His lawyer did a good job on this. He'd be getting it reduced to non-drunk driving because that's drunk driving.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Sandra from Arkansas, and honestly, like, I don't know, the way Justin, it's just, I know, first off, I found it so funny that the cop didn't even know who he was. So that should honestly tell Justin, like, I mean, he's probably just been so privileged his whole life that, you know, I just hope that this whole experience kind of humbled him a little bit more, because it, just the way that he was acting, like he was pretty nice to the cops, at least for that. But it's so funny that it kind of goes to show that, you know, Justin, he's kind of giving me the ick the whole time just because it's like nobody really knows like who he is really anymore.
He needs new music for this cop.
He needs new music. By the way, can we just say something? Your backdrop is beautiful. Is that Arkansas?
Actually, close. I'm on spring break. I'm on vacation. I'm actually from Arkansas, but it is Oklahoma City. So
I thought that was a painting.
It's not. Do you don't see the cars moving on the?
I didn't see.
Really? How many paintings have moving vehicles on a highway?
I don't know, but it's really cool.
Well, we got a real live legend, an absolute legend on the TMZ After Dark tour.
Janice Dickinson, one of the OG supermodels.
The OG. Don't you ever say one of these.
The first supermodel.
The first supermodel. She will tell you very proudly. And she was our host this weekend.
And she was amazing.
She was superb. It was an absolute honor to have her on. And she sang her music, which, by the way, she has amazing music. One of my favorite songs of hers was Get Me Out of This Dress, which at one point she did kind of almost get out of her dress, but it was a tease.
It was great. She had words for another supermodel.
Yeah.
Yes.
We had to ask her about the America's Next Top Model documentary because, I mean, we've heard all kinds of opinions about that documentary, but we've been waiting for hers, and we had her right there.
Short and sweet, folks.
I'm sorry I did it. I did not have a good time. Oh, she's a bitch. Tyra Banks is a 100% bitch. She was mean to me. She was terrible with the models. She just was. She's not kind. And Tyra, come at me. I want to hear what you have to say, what I'm saying. How can you make models change ethnicity? How do you do that? How do you pull models' teeth out? How do you shave models' hair off? Naughty, naughty, naughty.
Well, aside from that, though.
Other than that, it was a great experience.
She had a great time. We went to the South.
We can say this. She had a better time on our tour than she did on America's Next Top Model.
Coming up.
Doja Cat has some extra tickets for her tour, at least one that she was planning to leave for her father. And she has posted a video where she basically called him out and called him a deadbeat.
To which he responded.
That white woman brainwashed my baby.
Be right back.
Well, it sounds like Doja Cat has some extra tickets for her tour.
At least one.
At least one that she was planning to leave for her father. It has not worked out. And she has posted a video where she basically called him out and called him a deadbeat and said that I tried to leave him tickets and he called me and said, well, I'm not taking them because you don't call me enough. You don't message me enough. And she's like, well, you're a deadbeat. That's why I don't message you enough.
To which he responded.
Not gonna be used by a white woman with 3 kids that I was feeding those kids with the money of Sarafina. And my name and my reputation as a good man. I love my kids. Just because I gave birth to a superstar with money. And then it happened that white woman brainwashed my baby. That I left her. I never left my kid. She played the cards because of influence of her mother. She came to South Africa. She's got power to see me. And she faked it.
For those who don't know, Doja's mom is white, and then the white woman he kept referring to is his ex.
And who basically is saying, like, yeah, we had a breakup, but I was always there for my kids. Like, you know, when parents, they go to their mom's house and then the mom's trash talking the dad. That's exactly what he's saying. He's saying, I've never been a deadbeat dad to any of my kids. You're just close to your mother who's brainwashed you, and you give her all this money, and now you're a global superstar, so she's the mother of a superstar, and now you're trash talking me. She also did kind of troll him.
Both things could be true,
Well,
by
yeah,
the way.
they could both be victims here, where the mom has poisoned Doja against her dad.
But he also isn't.
In the video, Doja said, like, yeah, I invited him to the show. He said, you don't WhatsApp me enough. She said, well, I don't, but like, because you weren't there for me. So I could, But
The Glorilla is not the only family drama. Okay, every weekend we put polls up on the website to find out how you feel about things that happened last week, and a lot of things happened last week.
What
Here are the
happened
results.
last week?
That.
If ABC had aired Bachelorette with Taylor Frankie Paul, I would have watched or hard pass.
They're going to say I would have watched.
They're going to say hard pass because
No.
they got to feel like good people.
Oh,
They're
but
saying
it would have been
if
the
they
opposite.
knew-
I know, but it would have been the opposite. They're lying. Next, who you got
in
a fist fight? Usher or Justin Bieber? Oh, they're going to say Justin.
They're going to say Usher.
No, they're going to say Justin. Oh, God, I'm
I
wrong
think
about everything.
size-wise, I think Usher's just a little bit bigger.
Justin scrappier.
Yeah. Afro Man defeats defamation lawsuit. Hooray for First Amendment or unfair to the deputies
Hooray
that he
for
was
First
singing
Amendment.
about.
That one is for sure. Yep. And next, Trump mocking Newsom's dyslexia. Super offensive or silly political trolling? Yeah, that's what always happens
I
with
guess
Trump.
when it's political.
I mean, it's 32, 34.
Every Trump poll, it does come out that way.
Okay, last one.
Trump's Pearl Harbor jab. Oh, this will be interesting if it's 68%. Made me laugh or made me cringe.
It's going to be 50-50 because it was, oh my God.
Wow.
Even
We don't even
Trumpers.
get it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, the one that you were like, come on, it's no big deal.
I mean, it did happen.
Coming up.
Sophia Coppola's daughter, Romy Mars, is talking about how she was raised by not just her
Wolves.
mom, but by
No?
but by nannies, and says that she smoked weed for the first time when she was 11 years old with one of these nannies.
Be right back.
Well, here's a different kind of Nepo baby story, because we hear a lot about that in Hollywood these days. But Sophia Coppola's daughter, Romy Mars, is talking about how she was raised by not just her
Wolves.
mom, but by
No?
but by nannies and other people around the house, and says that she smoked weed for the first time when she was 11 years old with one of these nannies.
Which sounds, in a way, a little bit like a jab against her parents, that the nannies
Basically
were
saying
kind
that
of
I
raising
was
her.
free to do whatever. This is how Romy describes The encounter said, I was in my Dylan's candy bar robe after a nice bath and went to where my babysitter was sleeping to say goodnight. And she offered it, the weed, to me. Then we smoked together on the fire escape and talked about her boyfriend's mommy issues till I fell asleep. Cheers. She was 11.
The sad part for sure is being raised by babysitters and help. Like that's kind of sad. I don't know why people are so up in arms about like 11. I mean, smoking weed at 11. A lot of people when you're in middle school.
Devin.
That's not common.
Devin.
That is not
It is
common.
not common.
When you're in
And I don't
middle
know-
school, and
I
I'm
don't
not
know where
saying
you went
my
to
mom
school.
watches this show, so I'm not saying for me personally, but like a lot of
Well,
people in
you
middle
incriminated
school.
yourself by saying,
I'm just saying,
my mom watches.
well,
So
well,
what if your mom wasn't watching?
No. What Devin's saying is his mom gave him weed at 11.
No,
not the
no.
nanny.
Definitely,
That's what she's.
definitely not. Definitely not.
Hi, it's Brianna in St. Louis, Missouri. Nobody was giving me weed at 11. I don't think anybody should be giving a child weed at 11, but this is the risk you run when you let someone else raise your kids. I also thought it was rich that her mom called it a persona. Great way to continue shirking accountability for how you raise your kids.
Yeah, I think it was a shot at her parents, honestly.
I think the shot was received.
What else you guys want to talk about?
Hi there, I'm Jenna Lowe from California. I'm here to talk about Chappell Roan today. I think what happened with her security guard was super distasteful. I think there's a lot of risks when it comes to being a celebrity, and one of the things that you have to do is be grateful for the people that are getting you famous in the first place. So if I were her, I would 100% be giving that little girl a vacation or something, because it seems like it's a pattern with her.
Give her a vacation. Wow.
She's 11. Again, with the 11-year-olds getting weed, they're getting vacations.
Send her to Jamaica.
What?
Well,
What does
you
that
know
mean?
what I'm saying.
What does that mean?
The weed thing. You know what I'm saying. One more.
Hi, I'm Nayla from Germany, and my topic today is the Justin Timberlake situation. First of all, Mr. Timberlake, it's okay to be white. And his other statement made it seem that, well, then he thinks that celebrities should have or should get special treatment, even in jail. I mean, the officers have to do their job. That doesn't mean that he's a criminal automatically, but he's still human, and humans mess up and make mistakes from time to time. But I gotta say, he was very polite doing the alcohol tests, and that's a good thing.
He was polite, but he was driving drunk.
He was. You want to send him to Jamaica too?
Coming up.
Bill Cosby lost another civil lawsuit. This one is going to cost him big time.
$20 million.
Be right back.
Well, before we go, this just came into the newsroom. Bill Cosby lost another civil lawsuit. This one is going to cost him big time.
$20 million.
Yes. Donna Motzinger was a server in somewhere in the Bay Area, Northern California.
Yeah.
Back
1972.
And she says that Bill Cosby came in. Same story we've heard where she got a drink, she went to a party. Next thing you know, she woke up in the morning and
he all but admitted it all in a deposition.
There's quaaludes that he gave her.
Yeah, and so I don't see how he has any money left after all
The
of this.
$20 million is the judgment that he's been hit with. I don't know if he has that money, and this may end up being more of a moral victory for Donna Motzinger, because I don't know that money's there.
They still may try to go after it, but, getting blood from a turnip.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow.